Yes, let's be clear, it's time for news or noise. Thanks to Hyundai. Visit your local dealership for an end of financial year sale without the gimmicks. Eddie?
Yes.
News or noise, time for an AFL HQ reset.
A reset.
You get the floor.
Now, we want to do a critique, not a criticism, okay? Because it's easy to just get up and smack and not have any answers to these things. Let's discuss the Ark, and let's start with Chris Scott, the Geelong coach, who had this to say today.
We're not going to empower the Ark to look at it for a long time and then make a change when the game's in motion. We're going to say it's up to the umpires, and that can include the field umpires. When there's doubt, they're going to call for a review. So what we'll likely see is, out of an abundance of caution, a lot of reviews, which in turn is going to frustrate people. And then there'll be more commentary about it. But their priority should be to get the decisions right where their technology can help.
Chris Scott, 100% correct. Got it in one. And this is not a criticism, but the pile-on at the start of the year over some of the incidents with the Ark, and then the whiplash reaction from the AFL has led to the unintended consequences of the exact opposite happening. What they were trying to save here, they're now killing themselves over here. And I'll give you some examples, right? So one of the great innovations is to stop the head injuries to players. Okay, so we've got club doctors who are flat out running the show on the bench. So this was the one that happened in April 18. And you can see the Essendon player got knocked over there. The Ark doctor said, get him off. You can see Brad Scott there going, what? He's going, what? Doctor says, what? And then as a result of that, everyone went quiet. Now, this game, I was sitting on the couch at home and could see what was going on here. Big knee to the head. Clearly, he had to come off the ground. It took half a dozen, a couple of missed
took too long.
handballs, Durham there to get off the ground. This one was the one that really upset me. Absolutely cleaned up the Essendon captain, McGuire. He stays on, he talks. The doctor, I don't know if he saw it or not, but somebody should have seen it. And then, a bit later on, he walks. He goes in. Watch the way he goes for the ball here. He's wide open because he's half concussed. And he gets his jaw broken and his back teeth knocked out. That's exactly what we don't want to have happening in the game. We don't want it for kids watching. We certainly don't want it for McGrath there, who goes to hospital and has surgery. So my understanding is this, that the doctors in the Ark are relatively young doctors. And thank you so much for your service. To pay to get doctors to sit in the Ark costs an absolute mint, right? So they're doing it at less than full charge, okay? So they're good people. There is a disconnect between them and the club doctors. And the club doctors who are at clubs every day of the week doing it, believe, you're telling me I'm here, I get it. There has to be a cup of coffee. There's one way that has been described to me, for them to come together and work together. I'll make a suggestion, and I have made this suggestion to the AFL chairman, Craig Drummond. Go and get Peter Larkins. Right? He's the best picker of an injury. We put him on Triple M football, 30 years ago. We had him on Channel 9's football. He went to Channel 7, went to 3AW. To this very day, all the reporters on the sidelines and on match day still, is fair enough, as right as it can, they still text Peter Larkins to find out what his opinion is. He's sitting at home watching his 22-inch rank arena and picking it, okay? Get him in there. He doesn't have to be the main guy, but he has more experience than anyone, right? Sometimes experience counts. And we need to get him in there to get that connect, because it's dangerous and we're just missing out on what we need to get out of the Ark.
Are you saying there's a lack of respect from the AFL doctors, club doctors, to the doctors in the Ark, and we need a better, more experienced doctors? I know it's a strong word.
Respect's a bit hard. I think there's a bit of a demarcation.
And so putting a doctor like Peter Larkins in there, who the AFL doctors respect, will make that transfer of information easier and better.
And also, there's a difference between being a doctor and being a sports doctor who watches and knows where to look. You can't watch the game. You've got to watch the players. You've got to watch the incidents.
Because from my understanding, the doctors in the Ark have a list of criteria. They look down and go, what, bring him off, no, stay on. Whereas what you're saying is the criteria is important, but put someone then with experience who's seen it before a million times or 100 times and can actually liaise with the club doctors.
Mate, it's a difference between me going and have a kick. I know all the mechanics on how to do it, and you do it with your eyes shut. Some people know it. If you've got the best bloke in the caper, put him in the Ark and build it up.
You're saying you don't need the checklist?
Oh, you can have the
Dr.
checklist.
Peter Larkins is the best in the business at looking and going, that's wrong.
Mate,
we need to get him
off. But there's journos. Look, again, I used to stand on the boundary line at training and stand in the race so that the injured players had to come past so you could get the story. You'd watch it. I mean, there was tactics involved in doing it, but you'd watch all of them. You knew who had an injury and you could tell. The umpire, the clubs lied their heads off in those days. You've got to know it. You can pick it.
At Victoria Park, used to stay in the race and run out with the players, didn't you?
Occasionally.
That's right.
Certainly went in for a rub down, that was for sure. Interchange. So I just want to roll into this. This was a story Zen and McGuire broke the other day, and the AFL ran dead on this, okay? Now, no one's saying Hawthorn should have had to give up their points to Collingwood because there was an extra interchange, because Hawthorn didn't know because the interchanges were wrong. But what I'm saying there is it's a bad precedent to start to brush things under the table. Just get it right. And again, maybe they have to have a reconciliation with their own statisticians' champion data, which the AFL owns, at quarter time, just to make sure. And they should also say to the clubs, with 10 minutes to go, whatever, you're up to 170, you've got 5 left. Are you sure? Because most of the coaches are there anyway. So that's an easy one. Now roll the videotape on this one, because this is the one that drives everyone mad. So this was Rowan Marshall back early in the season, and we know the ball got pulled back and it was a dead game, and everyone said, oh, it went too long. So that's the interchange, get rid of that. Put the Rowan Marshall one up. So Rowan Marshall, as we know, it went back. It was given a point. Eventually, after about 50 seconds, it comes back. Now, it took too long. Yep, it did. But again, you could put 2 goal umpires, but I digress. So that's where everyone said, right, that's it. From now on, we want the umpires to be absolutely having a go. Now, we all know this one here. David Roden, hope it doesn't cost him a grand final. Interesting that the Carlton player didn't get a fine for cleaning up an umpire, which...
Yep.
So I asked that question. Why did he not get in trouble for cleaning up an umpire? Again, if you had 2 goal umpires, they wouldn't be standing in the goal. They'd be in the points and the goals, out of the way, out of the firing line, and 2 of them watching. But surely 5 of the umpires, as everyone has discussed, could say, listen, let's have a good look at it. And I hate to say it again, but if you're sitting at home, it stood out like the proverbials.
Yep.
You could see it from a mile away that was a goal and needed to be reviewed. So what we're just saying is take the pressure off everybody, do a reset, come back. We've got the big half of the season to come. We believe in everyone. We're not calling anyone mugs. They're good people, but let's just get it worked out.
Common sense.
Common sense. Everyone makes mistakes. We know that.
The AFL today actually wrote to clubs and invited club officials to spend a game with them in the Ark. So I'm not sure if that's worthwhile in your view, but they've written to club footy boss, says come in, you can bring a medico, you can bring staff, you can bring a footy boss, you can bring an assistant coach, anything during the week. Obviously not your game, across a weekend, and see how it actually works in there to get a bit more of a glimpse.
Okay, and I'll declare an interest. I built the thing, right? So one of the things that the AFL could do as well is invest in patrol cameras, the right cameras that are high speed, 125 frames a second rather than 50, and you get a far better picture for those types of things. So a bit of investment, a bit of coming together, but I think that's one. There's a couple of
I hope it's big.
Solutions.
Yeah, it's going to have 18
No,
clubs in
no,
there.
they're spaced out. I've got all you to.
Oh, I've got
pick
to
their
okay.
date.
Not all at once.
Not all at once.
Doc Larkins, all the clubs, it'll be a big house.
Larkins will want his own camera in there.
You can only bring,
We'll have a party in there, a disco ball.
you can only bring 2 at a time onto the Ark.
Exactly.